Welcome to Coastside Poetry. Thanks to those of you who've zoomed in and those who are watching on YouTube. We meet virtually on the second Tuesday of every month to celebrate spoken poetry. I'm Diane Lee Mumi, and Steve Long and I are your hosts this evening. Our featured poet event is being recorded and streamed live onto YouTube as we speak, so anyone can look at it later. We'll be posting the link on our website, coastsidepoetry.org. This evening, we welcome Mendocino poet Blake Moore. Current Point Arena Poet Laureate, Poet Blake Moore is an artist of multiple paths, including performance, video, media arts, painting cars, and teaching. She is a longtime poetry teacher with California Poets in the Schools and hosts a monthly poetry and jazz event and 2 radio shows, Be More Now on KZYX and ZFM, Mendocino County Public Broadcasting, and Cartwheels on the Sky on KGUA-FM. Gualala. She'll be reading from her most recent book, Dystopia Unplugged. Please talk back. Learn more at bemoreu.net. Please welcome Blake.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. And I'm going to show you my book. This is the book. I don't know is the writing backwards? I think I've got my image mirrored. It's straight. Okay, good. Dystopia Unplugged, Please Talk Back. I made the cover really pretty, but it's very much in the beat genre, or I moved to North Beach in the late 80s and kind of got adopted by some of the, I guess you would call them the baby beats, those who were, kind of at the feet of the beats. And I was always I got schooled in that it's okay to say the things that are difficult and we need to say those things. So the last few years have been challenging for a lot of us. And the reason why I call this Please Talk Back is that we need to find healthy ways to dialogue. And I really worked hard to put love in every single one of these poems. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to start with the kind of the subtitle poem. And I've also got this book available as a audio version. I recorded it. So it's not on Audible yet, but it's on a lot of the other audio platforms, and it's also an ebook as well as a print book. So this is the Please Talk Back poem. Please talk back. I do not recognize myself. I don't even answer to my name unless you say it over and over. By then, it is nonsense I can't put my tongue on. Who am I? A voice in a head, a daughter, a poet, your friend. Ideas land, take off just as quickly. Pain does that, slips into the marrow and throbs, yowling. Notice me, change. And then I'm gonna read another poem. This one's called, let's see, I think I'm gonna do Love is My Currency. Zoom is always so interesting because usually when I like to say to Zoom people, feel free to unmute yourself and talk, but I know that I don't want to create any kind of a chaos in Zoom land, but I really appreciate you listening. Love is my currency. In these inflationary times, everyone wants to extend their $6 a gallon of gas, maybe discover a thrift store, wait in line for another free shot. But what if the hamster wheel stops turning for cheese and Diet Coke? What if it rolls itself right off a cliff, crashes into the deep blue ocean? Would you care too much or not care at all? It's like this now, all black and white, the sky the only gray in our conformationally biased lives, our attention running this way and that as our leaders kick the can into the abyss with one foot, dig our graves with the other. Cynical? Did you just call me cynical? The exact opposite. A cynical person would not bother with all this nonsense. She'd be living in Mexico or Miami with a young coconut in one hand, a smiling man in the other. I understand what exchange means. It is creation. It is freedom. It is the willingness to open my mouth, risk everything. I will speak as a cerulean above is eclipsed behind mysterious exhaust lines. I will open my mouth as our leaders attempt to grant unprecedented powers to unelected bureaucrats, inject highly marketable children without their parents' consent. I will talk as California takes away a doctor's right to practice medicine if it does not fall lockstep with the "don't question me, I'm science" guy. My voice has value. It has love. So does yours. Words are a currency of change, of growth. The courage we gather from these sovereign mouths joined in mutual willingness is much more potent than Wikipedia or the Ministry of Disinformation. I will risk being wrong so you can help me understand. We are not so different. Gray is good when it isn't spewing into a river or raging from a cigarette in my face. I will not cancel you. Please don't cancel me. So this next poem is called Start Making Sense. Yeah. And I don't know if anyone else out there is a Dave Byrne fan, but he was one of the first. His lyrics for me as a young person really spoke to me because he had such a fun way with words. So this little homage, instead of stop making sense, start making sense. The saying is everywhere these days, the truth shall set you free. That pithy cliche from the book, Saving and Enslaving So Many. What does it mean? What is truth? What is free? How much is it? Can you think about the skeletons haunting the ashes of the recent years without suicide? Do you have the stomach to watch without fear? Can you transform horror into a dream of peace? Whether we like it or not, there is nothing left to do but love, real love, true love, tough love. Goodbye, codependent, bow down low love. Adios, groveling, closed eyes, taped mouth, false, kindless love. Sayonara, sycophant, succubus love. We gotta love. We gotta love fierce, love independent, love the chaos, taking balance away so we can love in balance, back into balance again. I'm going to do this one. This one's called Forgiveness 101. And I was one of those people during the times that chose to, I come from a holistic health medical background. I've written multiple books for the alternative medicine industry, and I'm really good at reading abstracts and papers. So I got a lot of my sources directly, and I am a performer and someone who's been really out there in the world. So I encouraged a lot. I experienced a lot of discrimination. So this poem is called Forgiveness 101. Sometimes life kicks you in the guzzler. It takes your love and twists it into an origami monster, stomping circles in the attic, wreaking havoc on the very floorboards of the foundation. The mind is a terrible thing to piss off. There is nowhere to run but to the heart. The heart does not want to hold grudges. Instead, it offers armfuls of daisies, candlelit courtyards in moonlight. It says, "How can I help? Do you need anything?" And gosh, some people must be very unhappy. Why else would they sick the county on you, call you stupid during a board meeting, determine you are unfit for the costume job with the social activist, musical, comedic, political theater company you've had for over 20 years because you did not get the shot that still doesn't really work? Change is hard, but tyrannical change is torment. Not the expected torture, but the relentless wonder over the bureaucratic betrayers, their kindergarten tattle tactics, why nobody spoke directly to me, why they chose to embrace the institutions they spent decades parroting, why I was iced out of my own world, labeled a flat earther. Without intention, my groove deepens, making the step out of righteousness steeper than necessary. Revenge is sweet, but forgiveness is death-defying. The latter is the only chance for survival. So I'm going to read Another Day Alone. All the poems in this book, I kind of did them in a chronological order. It was really how I metabolized what was going on in my life. And so they kind of take a little journey. They're not all dark, and some of them are lighter. But so this one, Another Day Alone, I think a lot of us early days in the pandemic can probably really relate to this feeling. Another day alone. Today has no goal, unless breath is a goal. Like yesterday, tomorrow, one moment unfolding the way it does, seamless stitches into this colossal quilt of choices. Some call for one path up the mountain. I call for many offerings to the altar found within me, inviting, burrowing, calm now, dark earth churning, mayhem as close as ever, something else appealing inside, quiet, asking me to walk alone for a while. Let the questions insist like hail outside my open window. How am I on time? I think I'm keeping an eye on it. I have a little bit more time, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you have like, another 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Ish.
Ish.
Ish. We mustn't forget the ish factor.
Yes, yes. I'm going to read this one. I don't know if anyone has ever kind of gotten into education and the Prussian education system that we're involved in, but I have spent some time. I like to research and read, and I like to read really arcane, strange books. And and I work in the schools, so I'm connected to the teachers and to the administrators. And this one's called Dear Prussian Prudence. School is a cult of control, I say, a place where white walls make right angles, square desks, and quadrangular whiteboards lay out pre-programmed ideas, institutionalizing thought and stultifying proportions. The principal looks at me and says nothing. I take it to mean he doesn't want me to stop, so I continue. School is a brain bin packing kids into bygones, but telling them it's their future, as if consensus science was about innovation. All the while, bureaucratic strings get pulled from sickle circles above. And even though we see it, none of us seem to want to stop the machine gunning for us all. He appears done with listening, so I lean back and breathe, giving him room to say something. But all I hear is rumbling, rumbling, that persistent rumbling, rumbling, rumble, littering our sky with rumbling again. We both look up, say nothing about the rumbling remains, the X and Y axis vapor sectioning, crisscrossing, obscuring the sky above the campus. In our silence, we acknowledge we also sat in rows, took tests with answer boxes, ate processed food from rectangle trays, repeated whatever we were taught to get ahead. I am going to do this one. I think I have time for both of these next two are a little bit on the longer side. I'm gonna start with this one and then I'll do the second one. This one's called The Big Lie, and it starts with a definition. A lie so big, so outrageous that most people cannot conceive of someone being audacious enough to tell it. The grand and shoddy machine under the cover of the Hollywood curtain seeks to ban anyone onto the big I lie. Horrified by the freedom of voice, mouths gaped open over the newspaper, masks shut on the sidewalk, racing minds huddled and howled under the gales of fat men laughing and counting, everyone trying to make sense of the story stretched out before us like Pinocchio's nose. It's inconceivable that anyone, regulatory or otherwise, would serve themselves at the expense of so many. But look, out there in the burn barrel pages of time, up high on the hill, in the musky shadows, it's history's gullibility guillotine. Terrified of talkback, we accept the drunk dad coming home with a handful of fists, slamming them into our wobbling walls. Don't ask any questions. No spooky speculations. Never defy the almighty truth legislators. No. Stay quiet until your mouth bleeds under the weight of teeth struggling to scream, stop. What is the agenda? Destitution? Death? Social credit system? Apple robs Chinese iPhones of their airdrop function during a banking protest. WeChat, all your banking, social, navigational, recreational, organizational, professional, sexual, government identity needs in one simple app. Put a chip in your brain and you'll never have to look at that subway map again or read a menu. Just scan the QR code with your very own iris reader. Extra bonus, AR goggles no longer necessary. Plus, you'll love your 15-minute city. Never mind the fines for leaving it too many times this year. You won't be able to afford gas anyway. We're going to take away your car because you're causing the climate to change. All you tiny people under the weight of our bombs, manufacturing methods, cobalt mining. If only it was that obvious. Do you think dystopia can happen here? Check your shoes for explosives. Take off your belt. Swab your nose. Sorry, ma'am, our bathrooms are closed for customers now. Ever wonder why we are so easy to cow and corral? It's because we humans are for the most part good. Yep, I said it. The big generalization in lockstep with the big lie. We care about each other. We want to do what's right. Even if the people who tell us to do it are bad daddy narcissistic psychopaths preying on our unresolved traumas. Pandemic or catastrophe capitalism. A sneaky virus who preferred family-owned businesses over chain outlets, forced you to stay 6 feet apart until you boarded the plane, let you take off your mask at the table, coerced us all into a shot. It's a psyop of monarch mockingbirds. Yet, no matter how many master disaster chains are rattled, billions spent on PR control campaigns, statistics skewed by imperial data delivery, they do not have the power in their numbers. We know it in the spin of our spines. We have words, the power of vibration. So let's talk. Talk loud, talk tall, talk proud. Speak through the flim-flam film sham. Squawk, squawk aloud. Stop thinking about consequences. The only way forward is to be forward. We are in this. We are all there is, has been, ever can be. It takes us shining the vibration into the void, out loud, loud, saying no from the mycelial roots reaching up like the star souls of soil. We are. All right, this is my last one. This one's called Big Daddy Patriarchy. Oh, Daddy, Daddy, you are so big and strong and sciencey. You make it less scary to be human. I'm so glad I'm in the passenger seat and you're manning the SpaceX Sputnik Moderna vehicle hurtling through the collective nervous system of humanity. I can't imagine having to trust my innate anything. Here are the car keys to my sovereignty, the deed to my free will, the secret code to my lock screen. You can make all the calls from now on, as long as you promise to keep me alive with your drive-through, fast food, iron-on pharma. Oh, Daddy, I love how you move the mouths of the good brothers and sisters, telling the vision over and over again. No matter what station I'm watching, they all say the same thing. So I don't have to bother with fact-finding, all that boring research and reading. Oh God, reading. I'm so much happier to watch your snippets of perceived relevancy, read the pre-approved publications, cliff noting the parts your virtuous, cancel culturally trained thinkers tell us are essential. It's so generous of you to ladle me all the labels. Oh, Daddy, you are so good. And I'm such a bad girl because sometimes I falter and think about fake news. I wormhole down BitChutes, follow the Telegram signals, go off parlor rumbling with the band. Please, please don't punish me, Daddy. Deplatform my lockdown social media existence. Stop me from liking and ignoring the posts of the friends you won't let me hang out with anymore. I don't mean to be curious. It's just sometimes I hear a faint voice that says something that kind of makes sense. But I'm trying to do better, Daddy. Plus, I know it's okay because sooner or later I'll get caught by one of your algorithmic breadcrumbs and find my way back to the safe paplum of your YouTube suggestions. Daddy, I know you staged wars, paper clips, and Tuskegees just so I can sleep soundly at night, knowing you have all the power and I don't have to bother my pretty little head with details. You can handcuff me to the bedposts, beat me down with foreclosures, unemployment, and hospital wards, since you always do it for my own good and the good of all. Daddy, I'm right here, waiting for you in my bedroom with your proverbial crotch over my mouth, hoping you'll finally launch this SS Good Ship New Normal. Let us go orange so I can put on my little black dress. Let you take me out for General So Chicken inside a real restaurant.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Blake. Wow. Excuse me. I'd like to invite anyone who would like to unmute and make noise and share thoughts and all those good things. So, excuse me.
Let's have applause, first of all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you.
Very, very energetic.
Especially like the last poem.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great finale.
I really liked how you read, Blake. I thought your voice and your, how you present it was it was very engaging.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, that's why I did an audio version of the book, because there's something when you hear the poet reading, because you get all that feeling. And so, yeah, that's why I do that, to give people a chance to sit with the poems in the voice too.
I love the way that
Passion of your voice.
Say again.
Nice 80s ring to some of the harmonies.
Well, it really is like that homage to the beats. I really do feel, I was, my last book, God Me, was published by Beatitude and HD Mo and that whole baby beat crowd, Tony Seymour and Ronald Sauer. And so a lot of those guys were my people before they all passed.
Ooh.
Say again.
I love the way that you've captured all the times, and not just now, but the past, the recent past.
The
And
recent past.
yes, and I think it really makes me think, and you've put it all together, and you put it all together so well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. The book's 117 pages, 118, and it really is kind of chronological, so you can kind of feel the going through, what it feels like. I think a lot, and I've been told, and I hope you guys heard this, that my intention was to put love in, so no one ever feels wrong for anything, that we need to understand ourselves as a community. And that's what I really went for. And hopefully you felt that too.
So
Blake, can you hear me? This is Steve Arnson.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Blake. I missed. I calculated the wrong time, that the Zoom started earlier than I thought. So I'm so sorry I missed you. Maybe I can see it. And if it's online, I can go back and look at this presentation of yours. So sorry to have missed you, but wonderful to see you. All the best to you, Blake. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
It has been a while. Yeah, it's very true. It's been a long time. Thank you. And it's going to be on YouTube, right? It's going to be on the Coast Side.
Yes, it'll be up. It may be up by the time we finish. I'm not sure, but it will certainly be up by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll look forward to that. Sorry I missed the actual Zoom there.
and is your new book available at any bookstore or?
Yeah, I actually gave a link that was going to go into there, it's embedded on the site and on the channel, so you guys can go right to there, and it's available in kind of all the formats. I went ahead and I had a publisher, and the publisher wasn't that excited about my content, so I went ahead and did it myself. And I worked with an editor, but I'm a graphic designer, so I did the cover and all the layout myself, and I kind of went through draft to digital. So it's on Amazon, on all those places, but it's also Barnes and Noble. And if someone can't afford it, like right now, I just found out that Hoopla, which is an online, they just accepted it. And I think I have it as an audiobook on Hoopla, as well as, so I made it available in libraries and different places. So it's more widely available, but I know Barnes and Noble have it, and Goodreads, all those kinds of places, and that link will be available as you.
Oh, Blake.
Steve has just
send
posted
a
the
link
links in the
to
chat.
those of us who aren't particularly tech savvy, that can go directly to whatever you're up to, to your direct website if it's not already there. Something like
Yeah,
that.
when you go to BeMoreYou.net store, which just got put in the chat, you can find out
Okay.
more right
Thank
there.
you.
And my book is available right through that link. And then I also do a lot of poem movies. So I create them. And if you go onto my blog, I have a blog, and that's where the radio shows. And I'm also always looking for poets. My show Cartwheel on the Sky, I interview poets. So if anyone feels really inspired and wants to do, it's a 30-minute show that airs live on air here, but I also have it on Spotify. So links.
Good to
that.
know.
I'm
Thanks.
always looking, it's every month. So it's kind of like you guys where, we like to try to vary our voices as much as possible. So, and then I also run a reading series. So if anyone's interested in coming to Point Arena to read, I don't know if you know, but Poets and Writers just lost its California Arts Council grant, and we've been supported by them for almost 20 years. And Jamie reached out to me as like, we lost our grant. So it's kind of a bummer because we're a rural reading series. And, it just makes it easier when you can pay someone at least their gas money. But,
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
but we have a live band and we do it in person. So
Well, Steve has posted all your links in the chat. So anyone who wants to save the chat will have everything. I'm saving the chat right now.
Thank you for that. I do see it. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, thank you again so much, Blake. We'll stop recording in a moment. Those of you in the Zoom room, stay online if you'd like to take part in the open mic. And thanks to all our YouTube listeners. Please tune in for our next Coastside Poetry event on Tuesday, August 13th, when we will welcome as our feature, All of Us. It's going to be all open mic. And I'd love to do what we did in March of this year, which was to invite each poet to bring a single longer poem to share, something that doesn't fit into the average open mic of 3 minutes. So I'm thinking 4-ish minutes a piece, and it worked out perfectly. We had 30 readers at 4 minutes, so we just came in under 2 hours. So just when everybody's wings were starting to flag, mine were anyway. So anyway, I'd love to do that again. So I'll be
I
sending.
got a couple at 4.2.
Pardon?
Sorry.
Oh, Blake, one more thing. I really enjoyed that one time I came up to Point Arena. That was so cool. I loved going up there when I saw you. That was the reading I went to. Loved it, loved it.
it's a great, it's a great reading and we have fabulous musicians. So if anyone's really interested and you want to reach out to me, I think you can reach me through my website. That's the link up there. And yeah, it's a fun series. We have incredible musicians and I love it. Yeah. So thank you. Steve. It's so fun when
It
you
was
came.
worth the ride. It was definitely worth the ride.
Blake, do you have?
Hey, well,
do you have
thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us at Coastside Poetry and
Yes,
for helping to
question.
keep the lamps of poetry burning. Oh.
Can I ask Blake a question? Do you have an email list, Blake, for the readings up there?
I do. I have an email list for the reading. So if you want to put your email in the chat, I can add you to it. If anyone
Awesome.
wants to do that, that would you get the monthly. I do it. It's a MailChimp reading that goes out once a month. Or you can actually, I'll actually what I'll do is I'll put the place that I'll put it in the chat that you can sign up yourself because then more of a chance of you'll actually get the email. Sometimes they're not very good about that.
Okay.
So I'll get that going while we're doing the open mic.